Well, hello everybody, it's Friday the 24th of June, which means it's the anniversary of the Brexit result. The Brexit referendum 2016. Happy Brexit Day, basically. It's also the day after last night's by-elections. That showed how the three main parties are all equally stupid. Today, we're going to be uploading a number of video news updates for you guys on this channel, talking about all three of them separately. How the Tories are still out of touch, disastrous result, but the Labour Party are overreacting with celebrations, and how the Lib Dems are still childish and amateurish. But first, let's talk about this guy. Not many people know the face, because he's always invisible and vanilla and boring. He's Oliver Dowden. Until 10 minutes ago, he was the Tory party chairman. He resigned. Not a big loss. Nothing really changed for him going, but it's all about speculations. We also have some updates, which I'm going to upload later on, about what the Tory MPs are going to be doing. A new plot, essentially, that they have to get rid of Boris Johnson. But Oliver Dowden resigned. He's close to Rishi Sunak. And that might be important. It's all about the speculations and all the pundits who are coming up with theories. One of them is going to be right at some point, obviously. But Oliver Dowden said that it's with great sadness I have to resign. I'm going to be jumping before I'm pushed. He said, this is a key point. He says, we cannot carry on with business as usual. Somebody must take responsibility. And I've decided it's me. Let's translate that. That means things are not going well. I'm not happy, but I'm boring and weak, so I can't really say that you have to resign, Prime Minister. But if things happen, if you go down, if my good friend Rishi Sunak stands, I might be behind him, because Rishi Sunak came back and said, well, I'm sad that my colleague and friend Oliver Dowden took the decision to resign tonight. So that's interesting. Obviously, he has to say that. But then he says, the next bit is classic political line. We all take responsibility for the results, and I'm determined to continue working to tackle the cost of living. Yeah, and then it goes robotic as usual. It's all about speculations, and it's all about how everyone's basically at this point wrong. Ignore everybody's predictions about what's going to happen in the future. But speaking of pundits, let's go to our political editor Peter Barnes, and let's just analyze last night's situation. Peter, what do you think in terms of how everything turned out?
The results first are dire for the Conservatives. I mean, bleak is the only acceptable word I can think of that won't get this video kicked off YouTube. These aren't great results. But the thing is, everybody kind of expected them not to be great. So this, like when you read the BBC at the minute, it's like, oh, it's Boris Johnson in peril. I was like, why isn't he in peril? Like the kind of narrative they're trying to build up isn't, for me, it's not really working. But anyway. So yes, Oliver Dowden has resigned as chairman of the Conservative Party. In my opinion, it's no great loss. I've never really been a big fan of him. He's like peak managerial, mid-management level kind of guy. This idea that he's now backing Sunak seems to be getting some traction on social media from certain journalists, but I always think he was probably more of a Jeremy Hunt kind of guy, if I'm being honest. But then you've got to try and tell me the difference between Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt, and then I think you need about a 3-hour video for that one. But here we are. Yes, so realistically, this hasn't been a great night for the Tories. Priti Patel has come out and said the Tories need to reflect. I mean, it's not difficult on what we need to do right now. For me, it's becoming increasingly clear that Boris Johnson can't continue now. Sadly, I was never one that he needed to go right away, but I do think now his personality and all of this is looming so heavy that realistically he's becoming a distraction. His personality dominates. It's becoming referendums on him, and mainly because traditional Conservative voters are staying at home. That seems to be the general takeaway from most of these results and from the by-elections that we've had in the past couple of years now. Traditional Tory voters, not the new Tory voter, but the traditional ones, they don't switch parties, they just don't vote. And apathy seems to be so rife right now. And it's not just in little provincial towns, it's up and down the country now. You know, it's in the south, it's in the north, it's on the coastal towns, it's everywhere. And it seems to be that people just having lack of faith in the direction of the government, and the guy who's at the top of the government is Boris. So I'm sorry, it's now looking like he's got to go.
Well, thank you so much, Peter Barnes, for that analysis. And I think, to be fair, it's spot on in terms of clarifying that this was not a vote for the Labour Party or the Lib Dems. It was a vote against the Tories and the Boris Johnson's regime. And in reality, we just have to kind of see what the plot is going to be. We are going to be coming back in half an hour, and going forward throughout the day, we have updates from Lord David Frost. We have an update from the 1922 Tory Parliamentary Committee that's in charge of essentially removing the Prime Minister and party leader. We have an update on Ukraine and European Union. So if you want to support the channel and stay up to date, then subscribe to the channel and click on that notification bell next to it. That's the best way to get notified. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.